Leroy, very excited to talk to our next guest. He is beloved by Heat Nation. He is an assistant coach on the staff. He, of course, was drafted by the organization. He's a man of many talents. He is a humanitarian and also a multiple-time author. He's got a new book coming out, Shot Clock, which is going to be available on September 6th next week. He is Caron Butler joining us here on the show. Caron, thanks so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
It's great to have you, man. So congratulations on the new book. This is a very cool thing. You've written a book meant for kids to kind of spread a message to them through story. Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration for Shot Clock and the meaning behind it for you?
Yeah, I think initially it started from just starting the program, Butler Elite, in my hometown, Racine, Wisconsin, and just being at the helm of it and spending a lot of time amongst those, future leaders. And I saw a lot of things. I saw kids, dealing with the subtraction of people in their lives. I saw the lack of mentorship. I saw all these different, things that they was, going up against. And then I saw the exposure to seeing, new things, getting out the confines of a 7-mile east, west, north, south environment and being exposed to other things. And I saw their eyes opening up to the possibilities. So I wanted to, create something that they can be inspired by, from hope, belief, love, that address trauma, losses, people from all walks of life. And I wanted to tell those stories because when you think about the core curriculum and what we've been exposed to growing up, it's kind of similar. It's kind of the same right now. You have, How to Kill a Mockingbird, Great Gatsby, Outsiders, these stories being told. And I think it's kind of dated, and I wanted to create something that can really be, up to speed and something that can really reflect what we're going through right now in real time.
You forgot one, Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. You like that.
Yeah. So here's what's, because I know exactly what you're talking about in that I was from Ninth Ward in New Orleans and nobody left Louisiana, and I was in Punt, Pass, and Kick and got a chance to travel, to Tampa, and I was excited to leave Louisiana. And so I said, you know what, if I get an opportunity, if it presents itself, I'm gonna go as far away from Louisiana as I can to at least, if I don't play any football past college, I'll get to experience new things. And I went to Michigan, and it was probably the best thing to ever happen to me because it took where I was from and put it in its proper perspective. And you don't get that if you never leave or if you never see other things. So I know exactly, what those kids are going through. Their parents can't really go anywhere. And they basically just say, look, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for you. And that's kind of the, when you grow up in the hood, that's kind of the way everybody approaches it. They don't approach it as, hey, get out of here, go see the world, go have new experiences. And a lot of kids don't get that opportunity. So, I'm all for it just to give kids, look at what's out there, read something a little bit different that kind of opens your eyes to the rest of the world.
100%. I think a lot of times too, just in mentorship, you always tell folks to do as you say, not as you do. But, with young people, they're going to do exactly the complete opposite to do what they've seen visually being done.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, the no ceilings mindset is what this book is really all about. It's about real stories, inspired by real people, real scenarios that happen, and how young people eventually, brought a community together, became the future leaders. And it was just so impactful, man, because experience the losses of, young people and how they had to deal with it, how they, address bullying, how they, seek advice. It's so different in the times that we was raised in, but I just wanted to give some type of, roadmap, to get through that stuff.
Caron, you were recently at the announcement for Udonis Haslem's comeback for his 20th season, doing his kind of community thing as well. How much do you guys talk about that level of things? You guys being at where you're at in your different points of your careers, but like that relationship that he has, you know, playing for a team in his city and being able to have that outreach.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we always talk about just leaving a legacy bigger than ourselves. Like I think that we all realize, and we're from an era where we was always taught this, that, you know, you're only here for a speck of time. And we've dealt with so many losses. We've had some moments where we excelled and got to experience so many highs, but we also got to, you know, experience so many lows. And, you know, nothing, especially from his standpoint, has been given to him the easy way. So he appreciate, you know, the work ethic. He appreciate, you know, how to go about, you know, getting whatever you're going to get to accomplish, you know, the ultimate goal. And I think he just want to really impact people. I think he want to really inspire people. And he's done that throughout his 20-year career. And, you know, not just on the court, because basketball is one thing, but what I really like about what Udonis have done is just like really impacted people, you know, off the court. He really is the MVP of, you know, South Beach, because people love him because of the person who he is. And, you know, I love him just as a, you know, as a player, but obviously as someone I know, you know, for years, over 20 years now.
You think it's easier, because I look at a guy like Udonis, and the first thing I think about is he been on that grind for a long time. He wasn't D Wade, he wasn't Shaq, but he is just as successful in his own way with how he grinded things out. And when he goes and talks to somebody, they're more inclined to see somebody like, oh, you know what? I can go out and put in that work and grind out a career for myself, you know, and maybe my talents aren't the same talents as D Wade or LeBron or somebody like that, but it doesn't mean that I can't have the same success as those guys are having.
Yeah, I think he did an excellent job at speaking about that during his camp. I went over there one of the last day of the camp, and he was speaking on, you know, guys like LeBron and D Wade, and, you know, obviously when God made them, he threw away the mold, and they have some unique talents. But a person like himself, you know, to, you know, not get picked and to go through the process of just like hard work, reshaping his body, you know, reshaping his mind, you know, and going through that process, and then finding his niche, and then maximizing that niche, and then, you know, every year is turnaround, it's new faces and new places, and how you had to be ready for, you know, that competition every year. And he really is just, he's one of a kind, man. Like, I don't think we've ever seen anything like Udonis Haslem, you know, in our league, for someone to be with one organization for 20 years, but in an old position that, you know, wasn't primarily the star player, but to, like, you know, when you think about impact, it was like star impact, because his impact is that impactful. You're talking about the story of one of the most historic franchises in basketball history, in the Miami Heat, and you cannot tell the story of, you know, the Heat basketball program, the organization, without mentioning Udonis Haslem. Absolutely. And I think that speaks volumes, like, to who he is and what he's about.
How long did it take you this summer to get over what happened in the Eastern Conference Finals, Caron? You guys a shot away. Jimmy was, you know, superhero like in the last couple of games there to try and will you guys there. It comes a shot short. Like, how long did it take you to decompress from all of that? Because, you know, you guys are always, you know, championship or bust, and there's always one goal. What was that process like for you this summer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking about it. I actually was literally just watching Game 7 this morning. I got down to the office at about 7:30, just watching the first half of Game 7, just like going through like the coverages and the schemes. And, you know, you always think about, you know, what else could we have done, you know, better, or I don't know. And that always something that, you know, it haunts you a little bit, but it also makes you better. I think that the guys are, you know, definitely going to be better from that experience. We all are. And, you know, just looking forward to this upcoming season.
How different is it? See, from a player's perspective, you on the court. and you can kind of rally everybody and say, look, let's go. We need more out of you here. We need more out of you here. But as a coach, watching it on the sidelines, right? It's got to be a different, like, you can't just run out there, or you can't. And sometimes the way the game is played out, it's not as easy as just saying we need to do this, because there's guys on the other side and you don't have control over that. How much difficult is it to not have a hands-on effect as far as what's going on in the court in those final seconds?
Yeah, you know what? It is difficult at times because you're not actually physically on the basketball court, but your energy and the preparation of your energy is out there. And you have to find those holes in the pockets to really have that connection with your guys. And I think that we have that amongst our staff, ranging from, obviously Coach Spo to, Quinny to, EG, myself, AC, Malik, we're all connected with our guys, and we whistle something or say the name, they're immediately like connected with us, and their synapses are firing, and they're in the moment to just listen to the messaging and really like quickly apply it. And that's the beauty of like coaching, going over film, spending that quality time with the guys during the player development and those film sessions. So you have that connection in real time out there. But it is one of those things where anything can happen on the court. You have a game plan, and as Tyson said best, everybody got a plan until you get hit, and then you got to improvise. So it happens in real time, and it happens rather quickly.
So as a former player, I want to ask you, how many times have you used the phrase "back when I was playing"?
A lot.
And wait, better yet, how many times have you said "y'all soft"? Y'all soft. Y'all would have never made it.
I don't actually use that quote, but I do that. Man, it's another way, because I'm strategic. I'm very strategic with my words. So I'm like, it's just definitely another way you could have went about that.
Hey, because I find, I tried to avoid saying back in my day, but it's almost like a level of grit and determination you had to play with when you wasn't the best guy. And I think that kids nowadays get frustrated when they can't just go out and be successful.
Facts. It's that microwavable success, man. It comes from that, social media, Instagram, everything's instant, but it is a process to, anything. We're speaking of Udonis Haslem. It's a process that he had to go about, to, find his niche and be successful. So it's definitely a process.
It's okay, man. You could tell him. You was a hard-nosed player. You could go ahead and throw it out there.
I tell him in my own way. Trust me. I get my message across.
Isn't it crazy how you like, and I know why you do that, because you like, and y'all sensitive. So you got to watch how you say it, because you don't want to turn them off.
Hey, I was wired a certain way. Like, it wasn't a gray area with my mentors. Like, one of my biggest, mentors was, Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul. But the way he handled me, it was just raw, what it was. Yeah, but everybody's why isn't the same, and you have to be strategic on your messaging. That's important, because you won't get the most out of some people when you just, drop dead raw sometimes.
So you ain't never had to think about that when you was playing, because you could just go and hold somebody accountable.
Never.
Now you got to think about it.
Never. It was just quick reaction.
Yeah, Caron Butler's new book, Shot Clock. It is available for you coming up next week. Another book for you, man. You got another one coming along the way as well?
I do. It's a series. We're doing a series, and, me and Justin Reynolds, we felt like this was a time. It was a process of getting to this point, but develop the characters, the storylines, some of the things that we wanted to touch on, from belief, trauma, losses, love, hope. And, we tapped into all those things with our characters.
It's always a pleasure talking to you, Caron. Thanks so much for giving us some time.
Thanks,
I appreciate it. Yep, no problem.